everybody, welcome to Morning Glory Farmstead. My name is Lolly and this channel is all about gardening, animals, and nature. Y'all, there are always some shenanigans going on around these green stalks, and especially with Oliver and Ginks. They are just so glad to be outside again, and so are the dogs. This is the first time the dogs have gotten to run because it's been so muddy outside. That's Georgie. He's a big baby. And that's Donka. Donka has more energy than any dog I've ever seen in my entire life, but she listens really well. Super sweet. All the birds that survived that -10 wind chill have been so grateful to have all this supply of food when there's nothing else around. Alright guys, just a reminder that I am not an affiliate of GreenStalk, but they were kind enough to give me a link to get you guys $10 off your first order, so check that out in the description box. So today I want to talk to you about the GreenStalk insect covers and frost covers. Do you really need them? And then also some tips if you're going to be using them. But before I do that, I want to show you what my GreenStalks looked like a couple weeks ago, back when the temps were in the 30s and getting down into the 20s, as opposed to what they look like now after the wind chill of -10 degrees and then several days in the teens. Okay, so here is one of my GreenStalks after several days in the 30s with nights in the 20s, but using my frost cover at night. So it's not perfect, and there were some areas that looked a little bit sad with some greens hanging over just a little bit here and there, but overall it's still looking really healthy. And here is the same GreenStalk after several days in the teens, the single digits, and then -10 with the wind chill. So it was really cold. At this point, they also hadn't been watered in days because I knew it was going to freeze the roots and the vegetation, and so I was just leaving them completely covered. In fact, I left them covered for a few days without any sunlight or anything, just up against the patio wall. I thought, well, they're probably going to be dead anyway. I might as well water them, cover them up for a couple days, and see what happens. So what I'm going to show you now is what they look like after being watered and the temperature rising up into the teens and slowly back to freezing and just a little bit above. What I've been doing the whole time is putting them against the wall over here. Sorry, Rubos is being really loud. Every time I come out, he does that. Anyway, and then I roll them out here on the catio to get some sun. And I will tell you that all of these would be completely dead without the covers. Now, they looked much better before the temp dropped, but the fact that there is still life on these shows me how critical the covers actually are. Now, when I took these off a few days ago, they looked absolutely horrible. Everything was hanging over. We had -10 wind chill, and believe me, even though these were up against the house, they were still catching that wind. And the reason I know they were is because it actually blew one of my covers off. It went up under it and lifted the cover off and threw it across the patio here. There's a lot of things on here that have died and that don't look so hot, but the fact that I am seeing life at all is amazing. Some of this stuff is starting to stand back up. And I'm going to talk about those covers in just a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to share this because sometimes the best lessons are learned through experience. Here's the giant noble spinach. Okay, this one looks crazy because my cat jumps up here and he's kind of messed those up. But this one's looking much better, and these looked really bleak the other day, you guys. I wasn't sure if they were gonna make it. Some of the collards, these got broken, but in general, there's still life there. These are looking pretty good. Some at the bottom don't look quite as good just because I think the cold air coming up underneath. But you can see there's still life there. Anyway, so I watered them when it was below freezing, and I put their covers back on, pushed them up over here against the wall, and it went down into the teens again. And then I left them for a day or two completely covered up. They weren't out here like they are right now. Okay, they were just up against the wall. And I thought, well, I'm gonna check them in a couple days and see what's going on. And I'm gonna pull all of the dead stuff off. But if I had not had those frost covers from GreenStalk on here, I don't think I would have any signs of life. I think all of it would look like this lettuce down here. So y'all can see that particular mixed lettuce, it just couldn't take the cold. But the bok choy, some of the other lettuces, my kale, my collards. Now, I don't know what these carrots are looking like. These were just kind of an experiment. But the greens on those look great. So it's not perfect by any means. But the fact that some of this lettuce is even standing up and feels a little bit crispy to the touch. Some of my spinach died here, but you can see there's still life. Okay, there's still some that is doing great. Look at that. So overall, I'm really pleased. And I don't think this is going to be a one-time thing. I hear people saying, oh man, this year was bad, but we may not go through that next year. I don't think that's going to be the case. I did some reading last year, and do not quote me on this, you guys, and I don't understand all of the science or remember all of it, but because of the warming that's going on, it's causing the opposite effect with the cold. And so it's something about the way it pushes the air through. And so I think this is going to keep happening. Last year, it got down to -8. This year, it got down to -10. And I'm in North Carolina. So I think we need to be prepared to have these cold spells, even if we go back to normal fairly quickly. But I am super confident, I say that now, we'll see how it goes, that now that the -10 wind chill is gone, we're kind of back into the freezing temps again. I'm feeling like I can keep these alive and keep them going. Maybe add some worm castings and kind of get everything watered and perking up a little bit. We're actually going to head into the 50s this week, which I'm really excited about. Now, I don't remember exactly what the names are, but I planted 3 different types of collards in this, and only one of the types is actually growing. I'll have to look back and see if I can figure out what the other ones were and which one this is that's actually still growing. But you guys, these green stalks are so important to me for health reasons. I am just so excited and wanted to share this with you. All right, so let me give you a few tips about the covers. So do I think that you need to use GreenStalk covers? Absolutely, if you are where the temps get really low, or maybe even if you have a lot of rain. If you have a lot of rain, these covers can actually help you with that. It's like having an umbrella that fits the GreenStalk. So if you know that you're gonna have some rain, you want your plants to get that rain. But if you're gonna have torrential downpour for a few days, it might be good to let them have some of that rain and then put the cover on so that they don't get oversaturated, because sometimes other things can start growing in there and they get kind of moldy if you leave them too wet for too long. I always like to leave my green stalks uncovered, especially while the sun's out if it's during the cold times of the year. But what you want to do is put that cover on the green stalk before it gets too dark so that you don't lose the heat that's inside that green stalk. You want to try to trap some of that heat while you can. So put them out in the sun as long as you can, but before that sun goes down, go ahead and get that frost cover on. The other thing you want to try to do during the cold months is water them during the warmest times of the day. And then I throw that cover on before it gets dark because you don't want all of the roots and the plants to freeze up in that water. If you're going to have extremely windy conditions, they're also super helpful. And because they're so long, you can actually put something on the bottom like a brick or just something to hold it in place so that they don't blow off. They work better if you put a support around the top because this keeps the cover from laying on the plants themselves. Now, I'll be honest with you, I didn't use a support this fall. I just kept throwing the cover on it and they turned out okay. But had I taken 5 minutes to put the support on, it may not have smashed some of my greens or made them look so funny, but they still turned out okay. So here you can see on the frost cover, it's a little bit shinier. To me, it feels just a little bit thicker, but it looks completely different from the insect cover, which here you can see it's more of a netting type of material, but they're both the same height. The frost cover allows about 68% of the sunlight to get through, whereas the insect cover allows about 70 to 80% to get through. One of the things I'm going to experiment with this coming season is actually using the insect cover to put over one of my green stalks because it allows that 70 to 80% of the light through, and I'm going to see how well it does in extreme heat or extreme sun. I want to see if it offers a little bit of shade while still allowing enough sunlight for these veggies to grow. I think the price of the GreenStalk covers is totally worth it. It's an investment in the food, in the work that you're putting into these. I know for certain my plants wouldn't have made it without these GreenStalk covers, you guys. I am a diehard fan of these. I've got one for every single one of my GreenStalks. All right, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Go out and get those GreenStalk covers. I'll see you real soon in the next video. Until then, y'all have a great couple of days. Bye-bye.